Hi, I'm Elijah, and today I will be teaching you how to properly analyze and write a paper on a poem. When you want to write a paper on a poem, you will first have to be presented with a poem, often given to you by your teacher. To analyze your poem, you sit down and you make sure you have all of your proper tools, such as a pencil, a pen, different colored highlighters if you feel you need them, and a dictionary if you think you need it. To analyze a poem, you need to go deeper into the poem than what you see on the surface. Often, you start with the title. You want to figure out what the title means to you. You figure out that, then you pre-read the rest of the poem. After you've pre-read the rest of the poem, you have a little gist in your mind. This is when you go in, word by word, into the poem. You're looking for any different types of diction, any poetic devices, any figurative language. You want to figure out what makes that poem its own special poem. When you find something such as figurative language, you want to highlight it or circle it if you don't have highlighters, and you want to write a comment on the side, figuring out what that means to you. Remember, this is your analysis of the poem. Once you do that throughout the whole poem, you are ready to start writing your paper. Starting your poem is often the hardest part. You want to have a hook and a thesis statement. Your hook has to be able to capture your reader's attention and make them want to read it. Often these hooks can be questions, interesting facts, or statements, or anything that you believe would grab the reader's attention. In your thesis statement, you want to cover everything that you're going to cover in your analysis of the poem. So you want to cover any figurative language, any poetic devices. You want to list them all in your thesis statement, or at least give a genre. And make sure that you have the title of your poem and the author of the poem in your first thesis statement. That is one of the most important, because that lays out what you're looking for. Writing your body statements is often a lot easier than you might think. When you first find your first part of what you want to write about, you're going to make that your topic sentence. Now your topic sentence is going to kind of be like another hook, and it's going to state exactly what you're talking about in that paragraph. In analysis of poems, you want to use a type of paragraph where you say something but you want to give it support. So if you say that there is diction or there is figurative language or any type of evidence that you found in the poem, you want to back that up with solid support. You want to bring in a source, such as you see here. And notice I cite where I got it. You have to make sure you cite with the last name of your author and the place that you got it from. Depending on what you're citing, it could be a page number, line, chapter, it could be anything. In concluding one of your paragraphs, you want to make sure you wrap up and leave a good transition to your next paragraph. So you want to make sure that you give a good, solid ending covering everything you covered in that paragraph, and then leading into the next paragraph. And just in the next paragraph, you will find it becomes a little bit easier to come up with topic sentences for all of the things you found in your poem. You'll continue this for 3 body paragraphs. When you realize that you feel like you've done enough, this is when you have your conclusion conclusion paragraph. Excuse me. Your conclusion paragraph is to wrap up everything that you have and have found on your poem. This does not mean spill out everything that you have said already. You're going to wrap it up with another hook, as you guess you could say. You want to explain what they just read in a very summarized fashion. Often, people take their thesis statement that they wrote at the top of the paper in their introduction paragraph, but they change the wording to allow it to have a different effect. You can still use a cited source in your conclusion paragraph. I often do personally to wrap it up and give another personal effect to the poem. Whatever you do not want to put, excuse me. You want to put your author's name and the title of your poem in the ending of your paper once again. As you can see, I have my author's last name, my title, along with my author's full name at the bottom. Side note, when referencing your writer, always put his or her last name. Never refer to your writer by their first name. If you refer to your writer by your first name, it means you are a close friend or they have given you the right to call them that. When you are analyzing a poem of theirs, you are to call them by their last name. If you follow these simple instructions, I believe you will have a successful time writing a good poem analysis paper. Again, I am Elijah Ayer, and thank you for listening and watching.